No one.
Oh, we need to mute. Please mute if you haven't already. Okay, tonight we're going to talk about family groups at FamilySearch, and also another feature called Family Feed, which has been integrated into FamilySearch also. These are two different programs that just recently in the last few months have been added into the FamilySearch website. And so FamilySearch, their big thing is collaboration. They want us to be able to work together. And so this is one of their big things. And so part of collaboration is trying to get families together. And so for years, they promised us that we would have some kind of a social environment where we could meet together. And that time's finally come. We actually created two features. I was kind of hoping that would all be rolled into one, but they put it in two different places. And so one of them is called Family Groups, which you probably have heard of by now. And the other one's called Family Feed, which you may not even be aware of. These are both prototypes. In other words, they're both under development, and there'll be changes and things added to them with time. So the family group program was developed by FamilySearch so that we would have a special place where we as a family or living family or other people, don't even have to be related people, could meet together, exchange conversations and temple reservations and other things over time. Right now, the conversations and the temple reservations are the main features that we have. And it's kind of like having a private group on Facebook. So those of you that use Facebook would be very familiar with the setup that they've set up for us. Over time, hopefully it will change. Now, there's different ways that you can get to it. One of them is by using the Tree app. In the Tree app, both for iPhone and Android, they have built the family groups into that app. On the iPhone, you would go to More and then to Family Group. On the Android, you go to where it says Menu and then the Family Group. You can also get to it online. On the FamilySearch.org webpage, if you click on your name up in the upper right-hand corner of the browser screen, you'll get a drop-down, and on that drop-down, one of the new things that's added to it is family groups. So there's two different ways you can get to it and two different places you can use it. You can use it on your smart devices, or you can use it on your computer in a browser environment. So we're going to walk you through creating a group. And so since I can't really create a new group and not having one before, but one time, I'll have to do it one way. And so I chose to do it on my iPhone and take screenshots from the iPhone. So I'm showing you how you create it on a app, on the app. So it might be a little different on the Android app, the views and the screens and things. And if you're doing it online, it'll be slightly different too. But basically the steps are identical. It's just that it might look a little bit differently. At the end of all this, there's a Q&A or FAQ document, which has been changed since it originally was grabbed. And so I'll put some changes on it too. But we'll go over those at the end. Okay, so to create the app or to create the group, I go in my app, and since I have an Apple phone, I go to the More link and then look for family groups. And all I have to do is click on it. And it comes up like this if you don't have any groups. If you already have a group, you'll see the group that you have, and there'll be a place at the bottom to create another one because you can have multiple groups. But all I'm going to need to do is click on Create Group. And when I get that screen, the things I can do is I can add a photo, and you can see I've already added a photo to this group. You can name it. And I named this group the Givens Family Group. Wanted to be real original. And then you can describe the group. So I said the family related to Robert and Barbara Givens. And so these are the three things you do to create the group to start with. Now that you're finished with that, you need to have some members. So you're going to go to where the little plus is, because right now you're a group of yourself. You're the person that created it. You are also an admin in the group. You're running the group since you created it, but you're going to want more people in there. So you go to where the little people icon is with the plus, and you click on that. And you'll come to this screen where you're going to be able to access all of your contacts, because you're on a smart device or you're on your computer in a web browser. And so it knows you have contacts, and it's going to access those contacts up here. And you can click on any of those that you want to invite. And when you click on them, like I'll click on my daughter, Amy, you'll be sending them a message. Now you can actually, if you want to invite somebody that's not your friend, you can do the same thing. You can just click copy so that the message is on your notepad, and then you can go into any email or however you want to send messages, or into your text box on your phone and send out a text to whoever you want. But in this case, I'm telling it, let's do it to Amy. And then I say click copy. And this will be the message that's sent out. I'm sending you an invitation to join a family group at FamilySearch. Members of the group can collaborate and participate in group messages. If you change your mind, you can leave the group at any time. So that's the message that will be delivered to them. And there'll be a link to accept that. Okay, so once they accept it, then they come in and they get listed on your page in your group, where you can either deny or approve them, because technically a person you send this message to could copy the message and send it to yet somebody else that you may not want in the group. So it's possible for this invite to get out there in people that you really don't want involved. So that's why they're allowing you to say approve or deny, just so in case somebody shows up somehow that you really didn't intend to have in the group, you don't have to accept them in. So to make sure that they come in, you click approve, and then they're in your group, and you can get to watch the group grow as more people come in and join. Okay, now you are able to edit the group after it's originally created. There's a little 3 dots there, kind of hard to see. The dots didn't show up very good in this screenshot, but inside that red circle, there really is a set of 3 dots. And by clicking on that, I can edit the group details. So I could change the photo, I could change the name, I could change the description. I can assign other admins. You can have up to 3 people be admins. That would be real smart in case something would happen to you and you're not able to function anymore. If you have at least one other person who's an admin, then somebody else can still run this group. And this is the place that anybody can go to leave the group. Of course, you don't want to leave the group because that would dissolve the whole group. But the other people, this is where they need to go if they want to drop out. Okay. Now, one of the big things for us that are members of the church are these temple reservations and being able to share them within this group. We've been doing that this week with one of our daughters, and it's really been a big help in speeding up the process of getting ordinances out. I mentioned one thing right now. If you have a group that has members and non-members both in the group, the non-members won't see any of the temple stuff. They won't see where it says group reservations on the screen. So you don't have to worry about that. This is strictly for LDS people. So if you want to work with group reservations and have an actual list that the group can pull from, you need to click on group reservations. And then of course you have to be able to put some in there. So it's going to take you, since you clicked on group reservations, it's taking you to your My Reservation list. Not your shared with the temple list, but your My Reservations. So if you have things shared with the temple that you want to turn around and share with this group, you're going to have to unshare with the temple so that they're in your My Reservations list to be able to put them in this group. And what you're going to end up doing is you're going to click on the little bubbles that you see in the red box by the names of the people that you're going to want to move over into the family shared list. And so to actually do this, I'll show you. I clicked on Eliza Green's little circle, and then I'm going to say, I want to share it. Now, this is where things change a little bit from where it's been before. You're actually going to have three options. You have the share to someone. This is the one we've had where you can send it by email to somebody. And then they have 2 weeks to accept it and then 90 days to do it. Or you can take that name and share it with the temple. Or in this case, share it with the group. So you're going to click on share it with the group and it will be shared with your group. If you had more than one group, you'll get a screen where it lists all the groups you're in and you tell it which group you're sending this reservation to. Okay, and so I've done several people here and it shows that I could, because they have available 14 baptisms, 14 confirmations, 14 initiatories, 14 endowments, 11 sealing to parents. And which do I want to share with the group? I don't have to share all of them. I could have shared just baptism and confirmations if I was doing this for my grandkids, so they'd be ready to take the names, on a baptism trip. But in this case, I chose everything but the sealing to parents. So I left the sealing to parents over in My Reservations for right now. But I chose the rest of them and I click continue and they're now in the list. And you'll see that there's a family groups tab. You have My Reservations, shared with the temple. You have family groups now, which could say shared with family groups. And then you'll have the completed list also, along with ordinances ready as another option on that little bar. And this shows you ones that I have put in. The reason I know they're mine is because I don't see any way I can print these right now. And I'll show you what it looks like, mine versus somebody else in the group's contributions to this list. And this is it. If it's mine, you'll notice the only thing I can do with the names once they're in this group is unshare them, which means no longer share them with the group. And that's what I'm going to have to do if I wanted to print the card for Isabel Long. I would have to unshare it and then pull it out of My Reservations and print it from there. If you see greens on here, that means somebody else in the group has put this in the group's reservation list. In this case, it's my wife. Those are green to me because I did not put those in there. I could actually click on this box and print a card for one of those ordinances. Would that have to be the baptism confirmation, because that's the only thing I could pull right now. Now, what is interesting is any name that is put in a family group when you're out in tree and you're the general public, not somebody from inside the group, but somebody from outside the group over in tree, if they would see Isabel or Fanny's record, it'll show these names as in progress. They're going to look in progress. They'll no longer be green to the public because they've been shared with this group, and only this group can do them right now because they're shared with the group. So there is a difference. You may start seeing more names out there in tree that are showing in progress than there used to be. And maybe a few less that are actually green and shared with the temple, because people are starting to move some of them into these groups. But that's essentially the way this works. The group is allowed, this is a group of ordinances for the group of people in this group to do. And if they don't want to do them, we can always take them out of here and put them back to shared with the temple, or put them in our reservation list. But then the clock is ticking, once it starts ticking again. Okay, messaging, that's the other thing that's available right now. On your app, there's a little message icon there. You click on it and it will allow you to send a message, type a message here for the entire group. Now, if you wanted to do just one individual, you could click on that individual and then click on message and send them a message privately. So there's two different types of messages that you can send out amongst the group, one to all the group members or one to selected group members. And this is the way it looks when you're on your smart device. You'll type your message right there. Or you click on the person like my daughter Mary, and then you'll be able to send her a message just to her. Now, if you're online, this is what the group looks like there before I added the photo. And you'll see down at the bottom, there's a big box that says message group. And when you click on that, it actually takes you over into the message center, where you have now a special group message, the Givens family group, and the system knows all the people in it, and you'll be able to send them the message. And that message can include images. And so I sent out a message here about my great-grandmother and a photo of hers that we discovered. It's the earliest picture of her that we have. We never had anything else other than when she was an older woman. And so this was a great find. And so I sent it out to everybody in our family group. But that's messaging. Now, there could be some unique uses for it. We've started realizing there's things that we can do. You do not have to be related to be in a group. You can have a group of people that aren't even related in a group like this if you want to put them together for some reason. And so one of the reasons might be to help somebody that has no family get their names done at the temple, or for people that are unrelated just to be sharing ordinances together, or to work together at indexing or reviewing. And real soon, I don't have a view for you, real soon they're supposed to be putting in the family group for each person that's in there, their reviewing statistics. But we haven't seen those yet. Okay, consider making groups. You can make groups for your ward. You could make a group for your elders quorum or relief society. Or like I mentioned just a minute ago, there's always single sisters that are having a horrible time getting all their names done. This would be the ideal thing, where you put that single sister in a group with the people that are helping her do her names at the temple. And then she doesn't have to start handing out cards and things like that for them. They can just go to the list within that group, click on the name they want to do, print it, and go to the temple, and save her all the hassle of the cards. And when they're done, they can just give her the card back if she wants them. But she won't have to create the cards for them. They can just go in and pick one out of the ordinance that they need. So think of creative uses for this group. I know there's wards that have the 1950 census group. And so they've created a group like that so that they can work together and compare notes and tell each other how many they've done and stuff like that. So there's all kinds of different ways this can be used. And that's perfectly okay. It says family groups, but it just means, you know, like-minded people groups when you get right down to it. Okay, some of the questions about it. How many people can be in a family group? When they started, they said 100. Well, they've actually moved that up to 1,000 now. You can have up to 1,000 people inside a group. That way you could have a ward group or, you know, a Relief Society group that has quite a few people and still be able to do it. You yourself will be limited to 10 groups. You can belong to up to 10 different groups, but you can have 1,000 people in a group. And can non-members be in with members? Yeah. The only difference is they're not going to see the shared reservations. Can you see private memories? No. If you make memories and mark them private, they're private. Nobody's going to be able to see them but you. You can't get around that if you leave them at private. Now, how many ordinances can you share within a group? That list in the group can have up to 1,000 names, 1,000 name cards, and then it'll max out and you won't be able to add any more. So don't get too carried away because you're still going to have a limit there of how many. And is there a message about ordinances when you leave a group? Yeah. If you leave the group and you have put ordinances in there, those ordinances will be removed and put back in your reservation list. You won't have to remove them. The system will take them out of there. Okay, and you should get a message about that. And of course, a public member won't because they're not going to see anything about it. And this frequently asked question document, which is in the Help Center, also has a bunch of other documents down at the bottom that pertain to other specific things. So that's the family group, the one we're more familiar with. The other one is called the family feed. And this is essentially a media messaging system where you can invite people to connect with you, and then you can share photos and stories and things like that. And you can organize your contacts in the family feed into groups, or they call them lists, actually, I think, to keep things from not getting too confusing. Let's say you can organize your contacts into lists and then send messages to each list or to individuals as you choose. Now, they've done this totally separate from the family group environment, and they have folded it in to a new updated version of the FamilySearch homepage. You may not be familiar with that, but right now that new FamilySearch homepage is an optional item. To get there, when you go to FamilySearch at the top of the page, you're going to see on the homepage, we're testing a new feature that will help you share important family moments and connect with others. And you can try this. So click on try this. And what'll happen is underneath your name, you're going to see this little try new homepage features and then a slider. If you turn it on, you will now see the new homepage. If you want to go back to the old homepage, you just click on that little slider and make it go back so that it's gray, and you'll have the traditional homepage. So if I click on that, this is what my homepage is going to look like. And it's going to have some of the same features, and it's going to have some different features, and it's going to have some features that have been newly purposed. And so first thing you're going to see on the right-hand side are mainly things that have been here all along. In fact, recently they've actually changed this a little bit. Where it says Discovery Search, you're actually going to see ordinances ready right there on your homepage, a box for ordinances ready where you can use it. And then under it will be Discovery Search, and we'll go over these in more detail in a second. The next section is recommended tasks, which we've had in the past, and recent people that you've visited in Tree. We've had that. There's now a new profile setting that you haven't had, and a list called Friends, which is new. In the center column, that picture that you see is the thing that's at the top of the discussion feed on the home page that switches over to different things. That's still there, but above it, you're going to see a place where you can create a post. So this is definitely more of a interactive page now, because you've never been able to post something to your home page. And then underneath it, the feed, you're going to see some different things there. You're going to see, besides the traditional memories other people have posted, you're also going to see messages that have been sent. And those messages can also include memories that you've pulled up yourself that you want your friends to see. So this is the design of the new homepage, which eventually is going to be mandatory, but right now it's just kind of temporary. So let's look at these things. The profile is something that's totally new. You notice that you can now have a picture in your profile if you want. Okay, it has your name and your contact ID, which for me is the same thing, your location, and then a listing of the changes that you've made to FamilySearch. And then it'll show you the sources, memories, people added, and reservations you've made. That's the first time I've seen reservations pulled up for people, but only you can see these. Nobody else can. Underneath that is this new Friends feature, which is really the center of the family feed. This is where you can create lists of your friends. You can invite all your friends you want to share with you through their homepage and your homepage. And you'll be able to send them posts, add comments to theirs, and include images and things like that in your posts. You'll be able to break the groups down into subgroups called lists. And so I'm just thinking about this, like if I wanted to, I could have a list of friends that I collaborate with on FamilySearch on my Carter family. I could have my Carter friends. I could have another list for my Wilkins family. I could have another list for my Sands family. And I could have another list for my immediate family if I wanted to share things with them on this page. So there's ways to do that, and a way to get over to the actual family groups by clicking on family groups down here. And you have to invite them to join. So you have to do the same thing. You have to make them a friend first. So you put them into this group first. And then once they're in this group, you can take that list and break them up into sub lists and categorize them if you want. But the first step is to invite them. Okay, creating a post. You can put whatever you want on here and share it with your friends and family. The only people that'll see this will be the people you've invited to be your friends or your family. And you can add memories of your own here, and you will see added memories that other people had, just like you always have. Okay, and they're listed a little bit different. They look more like a post now than just an added memory. And so those you can also get rid of if you don't want, or you can leave them if you wish. But you have your own personal ones now in this list also. Over on the right-hand side, the discovery search takes you over into your family tree to historical records and allows you to search for family members to see if you can find records for them, discoveries. The recommended tasks are things that are already set up for you. They could be temple ordinances that are available. They could be hints that you can fill. But the recommended tasks are just like they've always been. And then the recent people, will show you a list of the recent people you've been to so that you can quickly get to where you were in the tree the last time you were there. So that's it. Didn't take a lot of time. Let me turn off the recording. And I will take